Welcome to the 2350 Effect.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Happy Sunday. Last day of May 31st, and welcome to the 2350 Effect. I'm your co-host, collaborator of the 2350 Effect, the 2350 Network, the Virtual Wellness Experience, and the upcoming Work-Life Balance Summit that is taking place in October. I'm Damian Kinsey, and I'm joined by, as always, Dr. Tanya Farron. Dr. Farron, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the 2350 Effect. I'm Tanya, and I am the owner of Creative Living Ideas, as well as the co-host of this super fun show with Damian Kinsey, co-creator of the 2350 Network and co-collaborator on the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit that is this October. So we're excited to get started with that event, and we'll be talking about that soon as well. We have a great guest for you today. So thank you to everyone who's joined us tonight. Hello, Jackie. Thanks for being here. And Christy and Coach Carrie, Leslie Flowers and Kenneth Dunner. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We certainly appreciate your support, love, and care.
And thank you for joining us. And those people out there who are joining us from on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're streaming from, put your name in the chat. Give us a thumbs up so we can shout you out and also have this interactive. And also, please share this with any individual who you think will see value in this conversation as well. We are having this conversation. Tonight's guest is a teacher, dancer, speaker, a board member, filmmaker, multidisciplinary creator, a visionary, a daughter, a special advocate for young people, children. She's also a big sister, former district representative. She is a peer leadership council member. She embodies the spirit of the underdog and holds a doctoral degree in philosophy. Please welcome the founder of Josette XMP Productions, LLC, Dr. Josette. Welcome to the 2350 Effect.
Hi, Dr. Tanya. Hi, Damian. It's so good to be here. I don't want to be correcting anybody, but I think Google gives me a lot of perks if that's where you got it. But my PhD is in health sciences, and I will take the philosophy one also if you want to give it to me. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for correcting that. And we are so happy to have you here for this conversation. And those people who are not new to the show, they know how we always like to kind of start the show off with. And if you guessed it correctly, we always start with Now, laugh, call, or text is that thing in the last 7 days that made you either, one, laugh out loud. That's your option. Two, get on the phone and call someone. Yes, people still call people. And then the last part is either text somebody. So laugh, call, or text. I'll start with Dr. Farron. What is your laugh, call, or text this week?
Well, you guys know I usually bring up something about my family or my crazy grand dogs, but it's family again. So, my husband, I called him the other morning. He is out of town. He's in Oklahoma right now at the Women's College World Series. He is a huge softball fanatic. And I was on the phone with him, and he was just awestruck because he and my daughter are coaching there, a different softball team. It's a different venue, but they got to go to the College Softball World Series, one of the pre-games, and he saw his favorite team, Nebraska, and actually spoke to the head coach. And he was just a bag of nerves. I mean, this man was awestruck by meeting this head coach. So I was chuckling and giggling about it because I think that is just a great thing. And then he texted me right at the end that he got to watch Nebraska and their pitcher's final game of her senior year. He was just delighted. So happy for him. And it kind of makes me giggle because he gets awestruck very easily.
Wow, that's a good one, because I know the College World Series for the men's is in Omaha, Nebraska, and he got the opportunity to meet the coach of Nebraska, which is his favorite team. So shout out to your husband. That's a good laugh call to text.
Yeah.
My laugh call to text was Friday. I was off. I got a phone call from Dr. Farron midday. She was like, "Are you off or are you home?" I was like, "Yeah, are you busy?" So we kind of laughed and chuckled about it. That it was a phone call like 3:30, 4 o'clock. It was like, "Are you off?" And I was like, "Yeah." "You have time to meet?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And we talked and we laughed about that. That was my laugh call text.
Those of you that know Damien, when we're working during the day, we don't interact on LinkedIn. And I was off and I saw him interacting. I'm like, he's got to be off. I got to call him right now. How about
That's so true. When I'm working, I do not get on LinkedIn, social media, and anything.
Right.
I barely even answer my personal phone. So,
right.
Really good.
How about you, Josette? A laugh call or text?
No, it's a laugh. So I don't have a car. And this week I had a friend lend me his car so I could go to several events and run some errands. And I found myself very comfortably seated in the car in front of I thought, an empty parking lot. So I found it to be the perfect opportunity to use that comfort and that mirror to trim my nose hair until I realized that right across me was a group of 5 ex-students staring at me that I hadn't seen anywhere when I first glanced. So the laugh was between me, myself, and I to release the tension. It might come up on YouTube someday. I don't know. We'll see. But it's very nerve-wracking, and but showing humanity. It is what it is. You never know who's watching.
That's right. A little bit of self-care in the parking lot. Understood. That is funny, right? Oh my gosh, I love that.
Well, that is definitely a good opportunity to laugh at. We got to laugh at our own selves because we can't always take everything so serious. So thank you for sharing that as well. Thank you for Dr. Farron for calling me and engaging in my laugh, my call, my text. We do have a packed conversation tonight. Our special guest has so much things in resilience and what's going on. Dr. Farron, you want to take the first question?
Yeah, absolutely. So I love, we have Josette with us. Her tagline is Josette XMP Productions LLC, which is amazing. Like, we've never had anybody on here who has owned a production company. So this is really exciting for us to have you on here. So tell us why you chose and what are the titles of your documentary and film?
Thank you. Well, my featured film is called The Prostitute's Daughter, and my documentary is called Homeless with a PhD. Would you like me to dive into why, or are you supposed to?
Yeah, go ahead. Dive into them. Tell us a little bit more about them.
Thank you. Well, I wanted to be intentionally provocative to create a contract that forces attention and curiosity. And so The Prostitute's Daughter truly is a featured film about my life journey, dealing with not knowing where I came from fully, not having a mother, and then way later on in life discovering that it was much worse than I could have imagined of who she was and what had happened into my childhood. And so it's truly addressing how I navigated judgment and identity and negotiating who I chose to be despite it all. I wanted also to break expectations of what people would assume with those titles. And so Homeless with a PhD is the documentary of my healthcare journey. Same thing, I wanted to create a contrast here again that forces attention and curiosity, but also that exposes contradictions of a system that is not meant for certain people to make it in different ways and areas. So by putting those two together, homelessness and PhD, I wanted to challenge assumptions like education guarantees stability or poverty is due to laziness or to lack of ability, things like that.
Yeah, I could see that, right? That they can be contradictory against each other. And so putting that together. Yeah. So where would people be able to view these documentaries of yours?
They are being made. So when I say being made, I started my production company backwards. I am currently living with housing instability, I should say, not actively homeless anymore because I have gained enough visibility in El Paso, Texas. And so I'm able to couch surf, watch people's houses. But I am still on food stamp with no transportation and no income. So I have had to start backwards to make those projects happen. I barely started the Josette XNP company because somebody invested in it. And that's one of my many blessings in February. And so the next step is to crowdfund for them because I need to pay a crew. The script is already written. I have volunteer actors who are already lined up. I have a recording studio in El Paso who is volunteering to help with the voiceover and the music and things like that. But we still have to raise the funds to hire the cinematographer and the editor and make it a professional thing because I'm aiming for the stars, not settling. So it's
Sure.
not viewable yet. It's on the way.
Gotcha. And so what are some things that our audience can do to help support the journey and to get you to completion of your dream and your vision of your two documentaries?
Thank you, Dr. Tanya. That's a great question. Well, what you're doing by having me on your platform is helping me talk about this and gaining, of course, an exchange of visibility, which is going to get me the right people to donate. I have created those crowdfunding, but I haven't reached the right crowd yet. That being said, my visibility has exploded within the 5 past months. I've been in 12 magazines articles, and I'm scheduled for 5 more. So it's just keeping that momentum going so the story and the crowdfund can reach the right crowd. There are the things that you can do. Like I encourage people to schedule Zoom coffees one-on-one with me because anywhere from giving me advice to teaching me something from their own journey is welcomed. And I can teach French, maybe watch their houses and pet sit. Who knows? Many options. I'm open to God's plan and timing.
I love that. And that's how we met. We met, I think we were connected to someone else from someone else, and we had a coffee chat and we had a great conversation, learned a lot about each other and hit it off. And so I'm happy that you're here. Finally, we got you on the show. And because I think we talked months ago, many months ago. And so it's great to have you here. I want to take just a minute and dive back into our chat and make sure that I've got everyone in here. I would like to say hello to Mike LeBlanc. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. As well as, let me see, anybody else I'm missing? I know there's a person in here. Hi, Jairus Tucker. Thank you for joining us as well. And then there's a person who said, hi, first time here, LinkedIn user. So I don't know who you are, but if you want to put your name in after your next one, we'd love to get to know you better. Roland Harada. Thank you. Excellent.
You're welcome. Thank you for saying that. Myself and Dr. Farron, we was having a conversation the other day when we was preparing for this, and we were talking about all the things you're doing, like, being in magazines, being on people's shows. That is the way to kind of do it. And those people out there, if you do have a live show and an event, please bring Josette on. Have her on. Continue to give her to generate the buzz that she has, her reach, her outreach, and continue to for her to connect with people, because raising funds for any project is not easy, and you need as many help and support, as many eyes on it, as many people to hear about your story, and that is so important. So there's so many people out there in the audience who have live events and shows. So please reach out to Josette and be on the show. And if you haven't had her on a show in months, maybe she's willing to come back again, to kind of increase visibility. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Damien.
Question. So I have never authored a book in my life. You've authored several books. Dr. Farron has authored several books. What goes into authoring a book and why? And can you give us some of the names of some of the books you've authored?
Did you want me to answer that, Damien, or did you want Dr. Tanya to answer that?
No, I would like you to answer first, and then Dr. Farron can answer that.
Okay, so I suppose a lot of authors are focused into perfection, and it is wonderful and amazing. But because I live with a demyelinating disease, every now and then I lose my eyesight and my cognitive abilities. And I call this a blessing. I call it a blessing because I do not double think about what I have to do. I do it now. I do it however I'm able to do. And then I put the products out there with an understanding that eventually, when my eyesight and my cognitive abilities come back and my priorities realign, I'll be able to go back to those work and edit as I go. Again, a blessing in disguise, because I know hundreds of people who've been wanting to publish books before, but they haven't done it because they haven't reached that satisfying editing level. And I completely agree, understand, and support their journey, because we all have a different purpose and a different timeline and different priorities. So in December, I started having a slight flare up, meaning I felt drunk all the time and I was losing my eyesight on one eye. And so it came to me that I needed to plant those seeds as they came. And I published, I think, within 3 months, 11 books, because I have a wide range of interests, anywhere from neuroscience to ecology to I published a couple of language learning books and brain rewiring, fantasy, because I'm planting those seeds. And so a lot of people tell me, but aren't you afraid that whoever is going to read them will be highly disappointed if you haven't edited and perfected your work? And truly, the perception of the reader is theirs, and I have my priorities to worry about. So of course, I will get back into editing them as my priorities realign and improving my work, because I think you never have a perfect work. Either way, you can spend your whole life, you will always find something to edit and add or remove. And yeah, it's been part of that blessing of, oh my gosh, I'm losing my cognitive abilities and my eyesight, and I don't know if it's going to be one day, 1 week, 1 month, or permanent. What a blessing that I'm able to do it now, however the product comes out. And of course, I'm feeling fantastic right now. I've been bombarded by blessings through magazines and podcasts and live events, and I still have them in that back burner to edit and improve. But here we are. I have published them.
Well, I love that. Using resiliency, being proactive, and getting yourself out there. 11 books in 3 months is definitely like an amazing feat. Some people like struggle with writing one book. Like, I have not written a book ever in my life, and you've done 11 in 3 months. So I truly commend you on that as well. Dr. Farron, what are your thoughts on that? And it is a wide range of books. When I was looking it up, I was like, wow, like you're touching on so many things. And I love seeing people do that, because we kind of put people in boxes, but our creativity is so vast and broad that we think that individuals are just one thing, and that's not the truth. We have so much knowledge and so much information to share.
Yeah, you know what? One thing I thought about is, okay, the soil isn't fertile right now because I'm not feeling great, but I'm still going to plant those seeds, and one of them might grow eventually, and eventually I'll get to better the soil and the ground. Yeah. I'm a big risk taker like that.
To answer your question, Damien, I completely can relate to what Josette is talking about. Once you get the urge, the thoughts, the ideas, I almost can't get them on paper fast enough. It's like my brain works faster than what I can output. And so I find myself making lots of little notes and things like that to go back and fill in, because I don't want to miss what all of a sudden is coming in full force for me to think about what I want to write. And one of the books, one of my self-care journals, I remember driving home with my husband, and we were leaving a softball tournament he had coached, and it hit me. And I just got out my phone and my notes, and I just started rambling to him. And God love him, he's just always listens to whatever I say. Rambling to him, messaging my team, sending my notes, and a book was created, like in a 3-hour trip on the way home. Like, same as Josette said, like if you don't start putting it down, and she is right, you can perfect it and change it and perfect it. You, at some point, you have to just publish it, and you just have to say, this is what I'm publishing now. You can always go back and correct it. You always can make a second edition, a third edition. In fact, people want you to, because after about 5 years or so of books, then they say, oh, they're not really relative, so you need to go make second edition. And so good for you, Josette. I'm looking them up right now. You guys, you can grab her books on Amazon. All you have to do is type in her name, and her books are there. And so, you know, she's got a great list of books here for you to check out. And she has been published in several magazine articles. And so reach out to her if you want any of that information. Send her a message through LinkedIn. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can just make a comment in the chat, and I will grab it and I will let you know. Yeah.
Yeah, she published a few. I've been in a few articles this week alone, so that's real active work. Like it's continue. Your engine is keep moving. And I love that you have that engine that's moving so fast. And it made me think about it. I did make a film in college. I made 2, so I forgot all about that. So,
oh, that would be worth seeing.
What
that
comes
should
up
be
in
a 2350 network meeting. We see Damien's film. Those of you in the audience, those of you network members, do you think we should see Damien's film from college? I think we should.
They weren't bad either. I'm not gonna lie. If I was embarrassed, I'd be like, no. But they were really.
I bet it was good. I bet it was great. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Josette, when you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I didn't go that route, but I wanted to work with kids with severe disabilities, and the contact with animal seems to help. I am an absolute animal lover, and I think I of course I'm neurodivergent, but it was not as visible as other children. And I always found myself in them, like, wow, what helps me is the contact with animal. What if when I grow up, I can help both? The contact with animal and kids. And so it's called animal assisted therapy. I would have loved doing that because, again, I love kids, I love helping, and I love animals. Didn't go that way at all.
Life is not over, so you never know, right? I always,
That's
when
true.
people are like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, gosh, I've changed 6 times, so I just keep evolving and growing, and so you never know, right, what we end up getting. I love that.
That's true.
I want to jump in. Damien,
Felipe had a question.
That's what I was going to. Felipe's question. He asked Josette, if you were looking to collaborate with someone, what would you want to collaborate on? So I guess maybe on a platform or some. Boy.
So, Felipe, that's a great question. I truly do not pass opportunities to collaborate because it's a challenge for myself, and challenge means growth. It's also a way to connect with people and learn along the way about yourself, about the other person, about whatever topic is being addressed. Ideally, I would love to find collaborators to help me build that production, which is why I'm building an advisory board. I'm hoping to have it. In fact, I have a couple of people in this chat interested in joining, and I'm so thankful. But I'm hoping to finalize it in July or August to have those insights from different people who can use the Josette XMP logo, mention they are on an advisory board, and help me grow enough so that I can raise the funds and succeed. Because I'm going to do it. Whether it takes me 6 months, 6 years, or 6 lifetimes, I'm all the way in.
I love that. That's awesome.
So you have a lot of interesting titles for your documentaries and films, and they're real personal towards you. Homeless with a PhD, like that's like a real. It's catchy, but it relates to you as an individual and your life story. What was the moment that made you want to start storytelling and start telling your story and your experience and get it out to the world? What was that moment for you?
In 2014, I was living with very severe mental health concerns that I finally agreed to try working on. And I joined the National Alliance on Mental Illnesses. There was a program specifically called In Our Own Voice. And I remember being mesmerized at people, presenters talking about their journey of going through an incredible amount of challenges and traumas, and being able to talk about it in an empowering way. So I joined the program, but I didn't really fully embrace talking about my traumas until 2022, when I started experiencing post-traumatic growth, and I made it my dissertation in health sciences. I convinced the department to accept me for the first autoethnographic dissertation, to try proving my medical case and also exposing downfalls from the system that had gotten me to worsen throughout life. So this dissertation, which gained me that PhD, even though I also was quite unwell, is the beginning of the extension of my productions, both The Prostitute's Daughter and Homeless with a PhD, because right now I am a doctor who is living on food stamps and housing insecurity. And I'm using it to have people ask, who is this person beyond that label, and how does that background shape their life?
So, can I ask a question? Can you do me a favor? Because I know because I've worked in every field of social services. Can you explain the difference between unhoused and homeless, or the state of where you're at right now? The difference, so
Yeah,
people
so
can be educated on.
thank you, Damien. Yes, I have struggled with this because unhoused is supposed to be less offensive, less stigmatizing to the community. But when I realized this, because I was told you shouldn't say homeless, you should say unhoused, I didn't feel less unhoused than homeless. So the terms might help some people, and I am all for embracing them. But my title was created to be deliberately provocative, and so I don't want to change it because of that narrative progression change in society. It doesn't change my circumstances. It's true that unhoused sounds less, you don't have a home at all. You don't have a house. But I don't think the term itself would help my case in making the provocative statement that forces attention. So I don't want to change it.
Got it.
Did I answer your question, Damien?
No, that truly answers my question because people when you have individuals who are listening and playing this back, we want to make sure that they understand what your journey is, why language is possible and language is powerful as well, and to get information.
It truly is powerful, and I love when people bring that up because it makes me, of course, reflect on my choices and reconsider them accordingly. And I think that's amazing. I welcome that space. I don't know much, and even though I have a title, there is so much I don't know. In fact, most people with no title, I don't know much in general. So for the purpose of that provocative title, I think it's great for me to leave homeless instead of unhoused. That's how it was created. Yeah, I don't think calling me unhoused would make me feel any differently than I do now, but it might help some people. And so I welcome the change, of course, because like you said, words are powerful.
And the reason I kind of brought it up because when I was working in DC several years ago, I did a lot of truancy reduction, and a lot of it was housing instability. We would have these young people who their living situation was across the street when they started school, and then they weren't going to school, and then we would find out when we were going home and work with the family that they were living in a shelter, or they were living like miles away somewhere else, living with a family member or friend, and they were living with housing insecurity, and that was part of the truancy reduction. So we had to kind of come in and help support the family holistically on finding housing and supporting them, while also coordinating with the school. And because people are not always willing to tell what's going on in their life circumstances, and they'll just let it pile up and things happen. So I thank you for sharing that and putting that out there, because your story can actually help someone else. So that's kind of why I wanted to kind of drill down on that and kind of get some clarity for our audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Damien, for all you do for everybody, for so many.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Josette, for the clarification on that for our audience. We appreciate that very much, very much. We want to do another question, Damien?
I have one more question from Felipe. He had a question about what's your
Yep.
favorite pet. Let's kind of I want you to kind of answer that, and then we'll go to our quick commercial break.
Felipe, that's such a hard question because I'm such an animal lover. I will love the pet in front of me as long as it's not a mosquito or flea or tick or bed bug, I will love it. I have a dog right now, which is a service dog, but I equally love cats and birds and mice and rats. You name it, I love them.
Nice.
That's a terrible answer, but it's true.
Yeah.
If it's the true answer, that's the right answer,
Whichever animal is in front of me is my favorite. That's what
Correct.
my answer is.
I get it. I love that. I'm an animal lover as well.
And Felipe, I hope that answers your question. Please bring it out there and respond.
I know he was hoping she said copper.
Oh.
I think he was going with a poodle. I think maybe that's where he was going. I don't know. He's got a pretty cute pup. I love that.
It's good to see you as well. Nick has joined the audience. We have several other people who joined us, so thank you for joining us. And those people who are there, keep piling on in and let us know where you at. Dr. Farron, can you go to the Creative Living Ideas website, because we want to kind of promote the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit. Gregory did say that was the reason that the connection kind of happened. He said it was for the Wellness Summit. So I want to kind of close the loop and the connection now.
Yes.
Thank you, Gregory.
Thank you, Gregory. Maybe that's what it was. Yes.
I love the spirit of support. And Felipe said yes. That's what he was looking for. Variety.
I love it. When you know, you know. Josette, I have 4 grand dogs. So
Aww.
I have a love for my no grandchildren, no humans, just dogs. And I'm good with that. They're pretty fun. So this is the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit. It is October 9th and 10th. Y'all, the early bird special tickets are still available right now. You can come for 2 days for $75. It is a very affordable. And that goes through July 31st. We're giving the tickets are $75 for 2 days. So come and join us. We're securing our presenters this week to get them to start showing them off to you guys. So definitely check that out. You can click here at Creative Living Ideas for the ticket. This is just a little information. Here's 3 ways that you can participate. You can present, and you can fill out the presenter form here. You can be a sponsor if you would like. We do have 2 sponsors this fall. We'll be announcing them in June. And then you can also be a vendor. So if you have a product or something, a program that you're wanting to talk to everybody about, we have that. We've changed kind of the process of the event this year. We'll be having 2 panels, one on Friday, one on Saturday. We're finishing securing those presenters on those panels. So that's going to be an addition for us this year. We're very excited about that. And there's some different testimonials about the event. And this is last year's information because we haven't finished securing. So you can check this video out about who our presenters were last year. So we love this event. It's so helpful, so great. I was literally just talking to a group of people from Human Resources, and they absolutely love this idea and talking about that. Here's some more presenter or audience member testimonials. This is our 4th one that we have done, y'all. This is our 4th time doing this. I'm so excited.
And the information is in the chat and it's going across the screen to get your tickets and your information to be a part of the Work-Life Balance Summit. Yes, it's our 4th one. So thank you so much for that. And those people who have questions in the chat, please put your questions in so we can kind of, go from there. Jackie, thank you. Always being a sponsor and also supporter of the Work-Life Balance Summit and the Virtual Wellness Experience. Felipe as well. And also thank you as well. Panel, and Leslie as well. All right. So Josette, back to the questions. We have so many more questions to ask. We want to learn more about you. I know a lot of people will learn about you because you've been making your rounds. We want to know so much about you because you have so many things that are going on around. Now, for me, I want to know what. So for those people who don't know, you're a big, right?
I used to be.
Used to be a big. For those people who don't know what
that
that means, a big is a big sister, a big brother. For big brother's big sister, and Josette used to be a big. Tell me what made you get into being a big sister for big brothers, big sisters, and also how was your experience pouring into these young people being a big?
So, growing up, I was living mostly with my paternal grandparents, but also bounced back and forth with an aunt and an uncle. And so I didn't really have the structure that I needed. Every child needs something different. I'm not going to assume that people that have that type of structure are not fulfilled, but it wasn't my case. I didn't have the role model that I specifically needed for the child that I was. So becoming a teacher first made me want to become a big by taking a kid out, having a lot of fun, feeling loved, seen, and constantly hearing that they are capable of achieving their dreams, which is something that I personally lacked. And I had to find within myself. And it's wonderful. I'm not regretting any bit of my journey. But yes, I worked with a couple of children, and I would take them bowling, I would take them hiking, I would paint and do puzzles. And so a lot of children have parents that don't have the luxury of spending time with them for whatever reasons. They either have to work, they don't have the health, or they are in foster care, so they don't even have parents to hang out with them. It taught me a lot. I felt that I was coming in to teach the kids, but truly I learned so much more from them. And that was the same thing when I got into teaching, right? With the assumption that because I'm an adult, because I have a certain level of education, I would be the one bringing the most to the table. And it was never, ever the case. Kids were always the ones teaching me so much more than I had to teach them. Yeah, it was a privilege and a wonderful experience. I unfortunately got sick, and so that illness component really played a role in me not being able to continue so many things, including jobs and volunteer opportunities, which were amazing, like Big Brother and Big Sister. But I did dance for them in 2023 while I was living in a shelter. And so they have a fundraising event called Dance for Kids' Sake. Like I said, I didn't have fancy clothes. All I had was my used tennis shoes, jeans, and living in a homeless shelter. And everybody else were fancy couples with fancy lessons, wonderful dress, but I showed up. I did the job because the job is challenging the ego for the end goal. I had so much fun. I had more fun than anybody else with my jeans and tennis shoes, improvising on stage. Such an amazing privilege that it was. No regrets, because in the end, I don't care how it's received. It's about my experience, right? And of course, raising funds.
I love that you talked about. The reason I brought it up because it's such an honor to like be a big. I used to always do their walk every year. Used to bring my nephews to kind of support with that as well and help with my family used to help with fundraising as well for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And the thing about it is it kind of connects to all the things that you're doing, from your books to your films, your documentaries, to your external board work, and it's the spirit of it's the spirit of who you are. And I want to always make sure that during this conversation that we tell the story of who you are as an individual, that like you just seem like the person. It doesn't matter if you had $1 billion, $0. This is what your calling and your passion is, and it's organically what you found what it is for you to be. Like you talked about, kind of wanting to help doing stuff with young people as a kid, and and then you're getting into films and having these conversations and talking about your you're going from your film as the prostitute's daughter from the perspective of the daughter, the young person, and then also talking about homeless with a PhD, a collegiate level of an individual, but still is like human. And it's so many layers to you. And I salute you for that. And I want to make sure that we have this conversation and talk about so many layers, and you still find time to pour into young people, even though you weren't feeling well, you still came back and danced. So
Thank you, Damien. Yeah, it's so important to me to compress the whole human story into a short paradox of label that people make up. So to discard all assumptions and challenging the ego that comes with whatever challenges we are handed in life, right?
What I was thinking about when you were telling your story about that and dancing for them, it's about the energy that you bring to it. And I've heard a lot of people in the comments talk about your energy, and you brought your energy to them, and they needed your energy, and kids need that positive energy, that joyful energy. Life can be really heavy for kids, right? I mean, it can for adults, but it really can for kids too. And they don't know how to manage it. And so bringing that energy is so important for you to do. It makes me think about, and I've always thought about this. I don't know this exact quote, but it's in the end how you made people feel, right? It's not always what you're bringing to the table or what you've said, but it's how you've made them feel. And I think probably on that day, you made them feel pretty darn good. I love that.
Thank you, Dr. Tanya. Thank you.
Beautiful. So you just talked about how you are pouring into these young children and people at the homeless shelter. Who pours into Josette? Who or what supports and pours into Josette to fill you?
First I need to clarify. I was living at the homeless shelter, so I wasn't volunteering. It was where I lived. And I'm no longer big, but it's been rewarding for me more than anything else. People don't understand how much we get from giving. And who pours into me? So many people, including in your chat currently. Jackie has been a massive supporter in many ways. Gregory has been an incredible connector. I am blessed beyond measure, anywhere from having photographers in the city of El Paso. I have currently 5 photographers who grant me their time and talent so I can have pictures for podcasts, for magazines, for free, who pick me up on their own time when, of course, they should be paid for it. The people lending me a studio for my voice recording, people offering to teach me programs for free because I have to do it on my own since I don't have the luxury of hiring people. And it extends to people having invested into final draft, which I needed for my script that I couldn't afford, to people driving me to the grocery store, things that not everybody takes into consideration that I see constantly. How I am so blessed. I don't think there is anybody as lucky as I am because of the large amount of people that help me in millions of ways. Again, offered to be in magazines that people pay for, and it's just incredible. I feel so blessed and purposeful.
Nice.
I could go on and on.
I love that. I'm glad that you have that support.
And I'm glad that you can be able to go on and kind of segues right into a question that I wanted to ask that we had. You have so much support right now. Like you're here, you're there, you're moving around, and you're embracing it and you're open to it. A lot of times as individuals, sometimes we're just not open to it. We'll be like, nah, I'm not ready. I need everything to be perfect in my life to be able to do certain things. And you're embracing the moment and you're going through it and you're embracing the fact that you're open to people helping and support you. You have a tagline, you talk about the spirit of the underdog, and we all always look at people like this, the finished product, this person had no adversity, because when we meet them, we don't know what story, what hurricane that they've been through, what rainstorm that they've been through. We just see the sun shine and say, you know what, this person is finished product. I want to be them. And we don't even think that, like, going through their shoes and their journey, it was very hard. It was a lot of adversity. It's a lot of resiliency to it. Tell me the spirit of the underdog. What does that mean to you, and why did you adopt that language?
Yeah, this one is specifically aimed at my film production. There's a spirit of the ultimate underdog because realistically, making a movie, you already have to have a certain amount of money. And so I'm starting backwards, right? Building my visibility one by one with that delusional faith. The spirit of the ultimate underdog as a filmmaker for me is to have that mindset and attitude that I'm expected to fail, but I don't care because in my mind I've already made it. So one person at a time, I keep on going, and through the process with that delusional faith, I meet amazing people along the way. I learn so many things. I challenge my insecurities, and that's already success. So even though it's not on the big screen yet, I am living my life better than I ever did before. And I've been saying that since 2022 after the post-traumatic growth. Is just keep on believing no matter the odds. I am that high school dropout with a PhD, and I am that severely mentally and physically ill person with no treatment because she can't afford it. So, what do I do with that? I'm going to make a documentary to change the system, to expose those downfalls, to use those privileges that I do have, such as right now I have an able body, I am cognitively able to speak, I am able to write, I'm able to meet people and make noise and contribute to that change for those who are perhaps don't have the same skin color, are not documented, don't have an education. I have so many privileges. I must use them to make a difference, of course, for myself to move forward, but also to pull other people up. I think it's very important. It's part of my purpose.
I like that. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing
Thank
that.
you.
And your authentic self, your and so many layers to yourself. I appreciate you to keep sharing that. And those people out there, go to Josette page. Comment on her page, connect with her, connect other people to her who would share and have value to her story. So we want to make sure that she's as supported as possible, even beyond here.
So many great layers to you, Josette. Like, it's just fun to listen to you, and you are such a positive person. Like, you are so positive. And I love that. I love that about you. Um, I wanted to ask you, and I know we've kind of talked about where your dreams are, but what's next for Josette? Like,
Oh my goodness, there is no ending.
what's
Josette
next?
XMP
What, not
Production.
the end, but what's next? Like, I know we've talked about your dreams of your film and stuff, your films and stuff, but what's next for Josette?
So Josette XMP is first those two productions we mentioned, but I also have a program that I'm working actively on called Empowering Minds, where I want people to be able to rewire their brains because it has helped me. You see me as the most positive person right now, but before 2022, before being granted that post-traumatic growth, I was extremely negative. And so I have empathy and a way to help people without lecturing them that I want to teach. So that's Empowering Minds. And I also have an educational platform that I'm also actively working on, which is Schools for Humanity, just a whole new way of considering education in the times that we live in with AI, with politics going on. How do we help our children to succeed no matter what is to come? Because they have that potential. And if they have their mindset and health and community, then we will find a way together. And I'm all in for that. So it's part of the big vision. I'm gonna make it out of my circumstances, get access to treatment and my justice, and pass it on to so many through different platforms and different ways.
I love that. I really do love that. Like, that's incredible. What was the education title one called again?
Schools for Humanity.
Schools for Humanity. Okay. I
I
love
have in my last article, it is mentioned. So if you
it. Okay.
actually in my profile, in my LinkedIn profile, if you go to the bio, there is a cards website which is free, and every week I update it with a new podcast and lives and articles that I'm in, just so people can keep track of. Oh my goodness, how is she doing it all? That's the vibe.
I love that. I do. I know. And I get it. Like, I understand it. It makes perfect sense to me. There are a lot of people who are like, stay in your lane, stay in your one lane. I can't. I don't. I don't live in one lane. I don't. My life is not one lane only. And so my life branches out like this. And so I love that. That's incredible. I'm all about education and platforms and trainings and professional development and education, obviously. And so I think that's a great next. I love that you're working on that too.
And I
Thank you.
and I love that that's what you're moving forward is a mind state growth, and it's also like even moving backwards to last week. Technically, last Monday was you were a guest teacher on Lexley Flower Show, talking about mindset and having those conversations. So you were definitely open to you know what, like showing people that your comfort zone is what you create, and you're
Exactly.
creating a
And
lot of it by putting yourself out there. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm so unafraid of failure and being ridiculous because I've failed so many times in my life that no is the next opportunity and failure is wonderful. It's a chance to get back up, and being ridiculous is wonderful because it's filtering out those people that judge you that are not worth being in your life versus those who truly have value to stay.
So true. Like if you don't even attempt it, as an automatic no. So if you try, you either have the experience of learning or you have the experience of success. It's not necessarily a failure.
The no is that just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Wasn't meant for me. It is what, right? Yeah.
So one more question before we end with a quote. So the stories you write in your books, you're doing on film, you're telling stories out in public, you're connecting with people and getting um linked to people. Why is it so important for you to tell the story of the unheard?
Oh, that's such a big question. First and foremost, I have to emphasize my privileges again. I have a lot of privileges, and so I need to make use of those privileges to speak for those who don't have them. So, not everybody has the support that I have, the education, the health. We don't consider health very much, but I do because of where I've been in terms of not being able to function at all and when I am. And so I recognize that every story truly belongs on screen because every story has something to teach. I have the luxury of having loads of things I can share with the world in terms of identity and struggle, but also in terms of education and privilege and access. And so I want everybody to be able to consider all those multi-layered things that we don't see when we meet somebody in the streets because it's not written on their forehead. um, yeah, did I answer your question accurately?
Yeah, you answered my question. It's totally about how it's your life. You answered the way you want, and I appreciate you answering. uh, You know, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, people's voices need to be heard, and I have found a way for mine to be heard, but the end goal is to give them the mic. But first, I have to somehow find a way for myself to keep that voice and increase it, and that goes with my sense of worth and everything that comes with it.
And I think you telling your story, like we all have somebody that we can relate to, and you telling your story is going to encourage the next person to pick it up and say, hey, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to get on a live, I'm going to have a conversation, I'm going to just network with people, and I'm going to get in a magazine. And that's what these things are about. So thank you for doing that.
Yes, Damien. A lot of people, well, not that's not true, but a few people have told me in a judgmental tone, you've written books, you've been on magazines. And so my job is not to get bitter or hurt. It's to see, yes, you're right, you can do it too. Instead of taking it as a personal attack, that's not mine to carry, but I can send back the vibe that I want, which is that's right, I was able to, so can you.
And thank you for saying that too. For every you got, you probably got two of these and a couple of these, like silent claps and out loud claps. Because even though like there's always somebody who isn't commenting on you, who's not commenting, who's not liking your post, who is looking at it and saying, you know what, I'm drawing inspiration from it. And there's also people who are commenting on your posts, who are liking them and responding to it, who are drawing inspiration as well. So as many whom's you get, you're getting a lot of probably claps, and also people were saying, you know what, this is helping me. And you probably get DM messages with people who you didn't even know. So thank you for sharing that as well.
Thank you. I don't even need it because I clap for myself.
I love that.
Well, they need it sometimes. Sometimes it's for the individual. So I'm glad you have that, that level of like confidence, that you don't need it, but somebody else might need it. So thank you for sharing that as well. Um, so where we at? An hour's going by really quick.
Really fast.
Yeah, really fast. Time goes by quick when you're having fun. So we always close with a
Okay, you want my quote,
take this
Damien?
one?
Go ahead, Josette. If you are ready,
Oh, you
take it
were
away,
waiting
my
for my
dear.
quote.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, of
So my
course.
quote, oh, thank you. My quote is not scientifically accurate, but for the spiritual mindset that I have, it's perfect. It's according to all known laws of aviation, the bumblebee should not be able to fly. Its body is too heavy for its wings to get off the ground, and the bumblebee, of course, flies anyway because it ignores it. Again, not scientifically accurate because the bee used complex wing motion, vortex lift. But for the point I'm trying to make about the mindset of refusing to settle for what people think is possible, it's absolutely perfect.
I love that. That's perfect. My quote I thought would be appropriate for today is, to accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream, not only plan, but also believe.
Love it.
Nice. I like that.
Mhm.
And my quote is, you guessed it, the 2350 Network. Don't let 10 minutes of a bad moment disrupt the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of your day. Make every minute of every day count. The 2350 Network. It's time to bring people together. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for all the quotes that you have in having this conversation as well, Josette. Those people out there dropping whatever your favorite quotes. We would love to hear them. We love to see them. We love to get them in the comments as well. So with that
And
said,
and we're back
go
on
ahead.
Sunday. We're back on Sunday evenings. We've had a little break. We've had some holidays popping up, but we are back on Sunday evenings. We've got a long list of guests starting next week with Dr. Royan Hendricks. She will be joining us. She's a 2350 Network member, and so make sure to tune in next Sunday. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We appreciate your support. Thank you, Josette, for a wonderful, wonderful interview. We've loved getting to know you better, and we wish you much success.
Thank you so very much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.